Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
It's Friday morning, so you know what that means. It's time for Friday Live. Good morning, everybody. I'm your host, Albert Sharp, bringing you the inside scoop on today's latest news. And in our first story of the day, the federal government has officially declared August 1st as Emancipation Day. This day, set to commemorate the day the British Empire abolished slavery in 1834, was recognized by a landslide vote of 335 votes in favor, with 0 nays or abstentions. Politicians seem to agree that this day will serve to acknowledge the harms of slavery while educating future generations. That's some excellent news right there.
Wow, 0 nays. I didn't know horses were allowed to vote.
Zach. But speaking of good news, downtown is the latest site for vaccinations in Windsor. Jivan Arora reports.
As of yesterday, people over the age of 60 are eligible to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Tents have been set up outside the COVID-19 vaccination center at University of Windsor's Windsor Hall at the corner of Ferry and Pitt. Online bookings will be closed on Saturday at 4 p.m.
And Cade Ryan is here to tell us how Serb and EI benefits will affect taxpayers.
Tax season will be different this year due to COVID-19. With over $81 billion collected on Serb and EI from March 15th to October 3rd, 2020, many people will owe money on their tax returns. Norm Levesque, a tax strategist with the Tax Expert, explains.
Those who received Serb that were on an employment income that was in lower to middle bracket, they're all going to have to pay taxes.
Tax experts recommend people file their returns as soon as possible. For MediaPlex News, I'm Cade Ryan.
And you know, Zach, we're coming up on April real soon, so as I'm guessing, we can't expect a great weather forecast, can we?
No, well, it depends on the year to year.
Do you have a good one?
I'll tell you. Let's look at what's happening across the region this Friday. A special weather statement has been issued by Environment Canada for Windsor, Essex, and Chatham-Kent. Periods of rain, heavy at times with isolated thunderstorms, are expected to continue this morning. Rainfall amounts will generally be between the 20 to 40 millimeter range, but some areas, especially those that get thunderstorms, could get up to 50 millimeters. Currently, it is 5 degrees, and now let's take a look at that 3-day forecast. Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 13. Sunday, a 60% chance of showers and a high of 10. Monday, sunny and a high of 9. That's the forecast for this weekend. Stay tuned for Shrimp in My Cereal Box, Florida Man, and a story that can only happen in Canada. That is all coming up on your favorite segment, Weird News, and that is coming up at the bottom of the show.
It's Friday morning, and you know what that means. Zach and I are back with the latest in COVID, competition, and capstones on this Friday Live. But first, let's have a chat. Zach, how was your March break?
It was pretty interesting. We had some work to do, so it kind of defeated the break in March break.
It wasn't that bad. How many assignments could have really been?
I'd say it was about probably like good 5, 6.
5 or 6? How? I definitely didn't do that much work. I really hope I didn't miss anything.
Oh, I don't know. You probably missed about 5 or 6.
Probably about 5 or 6. As we all know, I'm definitely not the hardworking type, as we can all definitely see.
Now don't put yourself down, Albert.
But you know what? For me personally, it was just great to have a chance to check in with my friends and just relax after, over half a semester of working hard.
I don't know what's more shocking, the work or you have friends.
Honestly, for me, it's the second one. Yeah. But speaking of our friends, let's check up with our friends at Crime Stoppers and Constable Sarah Wernstein.
March is Fraud Prevention Month, and police are asking residents to talk about frauds with family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, and seniors. Here are a few simple tips. Never give your personal information over the phone or computer. Never tell anyone passwords. Do not purchase any type of gift cards at the direction of strangers, and do not share the PIN number with anyone. The police will never direct you to withdraw money or threaten you with arrest. Please visit www.antifraudcenter.ca to get more information. Your conversation could save a loved one thousands of dollars. I'm Police Coordinator Sarah Werstein.
And earlier this week marked 1 year of online classes here at St. Clair College. Cade Ryan tells us more.
On March 23, 2020, St. Clair College shifted all classes to online learning. Over a year later, many programs at the college are still taught online. Justina Chiarello, the program coordinator for the Business Administration Marketing Program, has faced some challenges while teaching online classes since last year.
When we first switched to an online format, you can share your screen, but it's like, first I have to teach students how to share their screen, and then it's a lot easier when I can just be right there and say, okay, here, click here, do this, do that. And then it kind of allows that kind of hands-on learning.
For classes that are still in person, students, teachers, and staff are required to complete a COVID questionnaire before reporting on campus. For MediaPlex News Radio, I'm Cade Ryan.
Much like COVID took students out of the classroom, COVID-19 has also taken people off of the streets and onto the internet, and that includes activists. I went out to bring you this story.
I don't think the easiest path for me has ever been the path that actually made things work,
When you think of activism, people typically think of sit-ins, protests, and rallies. However, in the modern era, people are taking their missions online. According to content creator Dara and Fun, people have a variety of ways to spread the messages they care about on the internet.
On TikTok, people often just make videos talking about the certain issues, trying to raise awareness or to say their own stories, their own perspective, as well as like providing links. Like they say they have links in their Linktree and stuff. Same with Instagram, is more informational posts.
Social media activism has seen a rise over the last year, with associated hashtags setting new all-time records. As TikTok creator Priscilla Espiritu explains, social media and in-person activism both have their place in making change.
There are places where real progress has been made, and a lot of it is just working with people that can be worked with.
Whether on the web or in your backyard, activists urge you to make your efforts intentional.
And it almost feels like they're completely different spheres.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Albert Sharp. And speaking of how things are online, it is absolutely insane the rate that things are able to spread online now.
Yeah, I mean, just like post one thing and it just goes everywhere.
A single event happens, and within hours, sometimes even minutes, there is art talking about it. There are songs talking about it. It is crazy.
It is. It's wild.
And while we're on the topic of music, a local musician is being recognized for their talents, and Gracie Lowe's has the details.
From making beats in his bedroom to winning a global beat battle, a Holy Names high school student is making his way into the music world. On February 5th, it was announced on a Twitch live stream that a Windsor teen had beat out more than 1,000 other musicians to be declared the winner of the JJ London Beat Battle. Misho Kergos is a 16-year-old Windsor-based music producer.
I was like amazed because it was my first time heading into it. So I was really excited too. And it kind of put me in a shock where it's like, wow, this could really be a career.
With his new keyboard that he won and drive for success, Kergos says he's making his way into the music industry. For MediaPlex News, I'm Gracie Lowe's.
That is absolutely insane. I put that story into the lineup without listening to it first, and I figured this is probably great. What?
It was great.
Over 1,000 other people.
Wow. I mean, just like, I don't know what's more shocking about that. Like, 16-year-old music producer or beatboxing?
You know what? For me, it's that 1,000 people. Like, you could beat out a couple people in a competition, and, like, that's still impressive. When it's over 1,000, that's insane.
You must be doing something right.
And, speaking of competition, you got that, like, sportsman-like attitude with it,
Exactly. You know you're going to make it when you have that sportsman-like attitude.
And speaking of that sportsman-like attitude, with COVID stay-at-home orders, youth sports have taken a toll. Tyler Clapp explains.
With many youth sports canceled due to COVID-19, young people are being impacted by it in many ways. Riverside Minor Baseball President Tom Laporte said some consequences include lost social skills.
Children, especially at the ages that we have, from 8 to 15 or so, they learn so much about interaction with people, and not having that interaction is going to really leave a hole in their development.
Some organizations are doing their best to combat this, like Canadian Tire donating $12 million at the tail end of last year to youth sports organizations. For MediaPlex News, I'm Tyler Clapp.
And while we're on the topic of sports, I don't know if you remember last year, Bird did a story on how some legislation about single sport betting was going to be going through. Did you remember that?
I don't know if I remember his exact story. Sorry, Bird. But I do remember hearing something about that. Yes.
Well, I was looking into it this morning, and it seems that legislation is actually making some great progress, and it's supposed to be going back to the House sometime in, I believe, April or May.
Wow, it's crazy. I mean, do we really need sports betting online?
Honestly, it's not even entirely online. A lot of this is supposed to be going through places like the casino, and it's supposed to make jobs. I'm kind of excited.
I mean, as long as it's making jobs, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Plus, here in Windsor, it's getting some pretty big support considering Brian Massey's been fighting for something like this for 10 years.
Wow, that's interesting when Brian Massey gets on it.
You know what? 10 years of work? I'm kind of hoping this goes through because it seems like it's going to be a good thing in my opinion.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be something worth, having the city of Windsor have.
And moving on, we've got a fashion, design, and function all coming together in this story by Liam Major.
The way shoes are put on is being challenged by the concept of accessible footwear. Designed to be easy to put on for everyone, regardless of physical conditions, Nike has been pushing this concept recently with their upcoming Go Fly Ease model, slated for a March 19th release. However, after releasing first to Nike members and now reselling for hundreds of dollars, how accessible are they really? Cooper Riazzi from Akron, Ohio, says that these shoes could be revolutionary, but that Nike is limiting them.
Like, for me, it could change, my life, my morning routine, and it could help millions of people, change their routine. But unfortunately, I'm unable to be guaranteed a pair. And millions of people are unfortunately guaranteed not to get a pair because people that don't need them medically are going to get first stamps and all that stuff.
Riazzi says that the shoes will be very difficult to get before they sell out, and that Nike should provide access to those who need the shoes the most first.
In situations like this where things like that are capable of selling out, I definitely hope that this kind of technology for shoes like this just continues going and more shoes become available with it, because honestly, this could help a lot of people.
That does sound interesting. I always love Liam's shoe-related stories.
You know what? He knows a lot when it comes to sports, fashion, accessibility. He's got a lot of great things to say.
Oh.
And speaking of bringing the accessibility of fitness home, Cade Ryan brings you the latest in home fitness in this Health Minute.
Although gyms are currently open, the lockdown restrictions implemented through much of 2020 and parts of 2021 forced people to find creative ways to stay in shape. The Department of Health and Human Services recommends adults get at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic training or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic training a week, plus 2 days of strength training weekly. Some safe activities people can do away from the gym or at home include mowing the lawn, going for a walk or run, riding a bike, dancing, push-ups, sit-ups, yoga, and general housework. There are all kinds of social media accounts dedicated to fitness tips and ways to stay in shape at home as well, which is suitable for people who still want to stay active while avoiding paying for a gym membership. Gym owners, however, lost over $15 billion in revenue in 2020 due to closures and fewer people wanting to renew their gym memberships. In September of 2020, 60% of members had canceled or were considering canceling their gym memberships. The popularity of at-home and virtual workouts impacted the gym industry negatively in 2020. But for people looking to be physically active this past year, proved there are many alternative ways rather than going to the gym. For MediaPlex News, I'm Cade Ryan.
Another great thing to think about is after a good workout, often you got that just really good dopamine rush and you just feel really good about yourself afterwards.
Oh yeah, especially have you ever tried to complete a milestone and you've exceeded it?
I mean, I've completed a mile. I was very tired afterwards. I am not the most athletic person, but
neither am I. Even though people do say to me, Zach, you look like you'd be great at basketball.
It's the height.
It's the height, and also
the height. You're tall.
Have you ever tried doing yoga?
Yes, I have done yoga.
I've done yoga, and you start sounding like the horn section in a late night show band right when you're doing it.
I don't know what you mean by that, and I do not want to. But that's one way to find happiness. And as many people are finding out, there's also people finding happiness in materialistic things in this era. Wafa Al-Kadimi explains.
Good afternoon. This minute is to inspire you and to talk about happiness. Everyone wants to be happy. People try different things to find happiness, but sometimes they find their hearts empty. Why? Because they are looking for happiness in the wrong places. The first step for happiness is within you. You have to love yourself. It is important to appreciate your strength, but at the same time, you have to embrace your flaws because you can work on them. You can work around them. But also, you have to love them. In the end, it is you. You should love yourself the way you are. No one is perfect, but every person is unique. Also, you may find happiness in helping others, walking with friends, enjoying nature, enjoying the sunset, looking at a baby. Many things can be reasons for happiness, but when you start counting these beautiful things, don't forget to include yourself. And always remember, it is said that 1 minute of anger can make you lose 60 seconds of happiness. Thanks for tuning in. I am Wafa Kurimi.
All right, Zach, we're going to play a quick game here. Off the top of your head, when I count down from 3, I want you to say something that makes you happy, okay? 3, 2, 1, go.
Lego.
Absolutely. Why did I not see that one coming? Honestly, I was expecting things like the latest Taylor Swift album.
Oh my God. Have you been keeping up on that? The re-recordings?
It's been pretty exciting. For me, I hear them, and for the most part, they're the same songs. So I get about the same experience, but the story behind it is absolutely insane.
It is. I mean, the reasons why she's doing this, it is insane.
She fought hard to get the rights to her music back, and honestly, it's exciting to see artists regain control over things that they like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she just released a new song at midnight last night. An unreleased song, so.
I mean, released now.
It is released now.
You know, it's always great to think of things that make you happy. You know what makes me happy?
Tristan?
I mean, yes, but also food. Food is what I was thinking about there. And speaking of food, the Eatery's open once more at St. Clair College. But, as I can tell you, there's a little twist. Down here at St. Clair College's main campus, Eatery 101 is serving up a different kind of meal than usual. Let's take a look. Eatery 101 is a restaurant operated by the St. Clair College culinary program. However, due to public health measures, the restaurant was forced to pivot, now offering take-home meal kits for customers to prepare the meals themselves. Trevor Pitcher has been a frequent customer of Eatery 101 during the pandemic.
I tried all the options, to be frank with you, and it was incredibly convenient and easy to work with. And so we kind of really were surprised by how easy it was and how good, I'm not exactly much of a chef, I'm more of a scientist, but how readily I was able to make a good meal by following the instructions they provided.
According to Chef Maurice Boire, the new system offers a chance to teach not only his students, but the public as well.
Repeat customers is something that we're seeing a lot of. People who like the concept of going home and having a meal prepared for you, and at the end of it, all you have left over is 2 or 3 dirty dishes. Those are the customers that are that we're seeing repeated.
So when you're ordering out, consider Eatery 101 and bring the taste of class home with you. For MediaPlex News, I'm Albert Sharp. So when I was out getting that story, I got a chance to kind of go behind the scenes and look at the kitchens that they have, and the kitchens over at the main campus are so nice. There's so much going on there.
I mean, I've never seen the kitchens, but I mean, it is a nice restaurant.
I got the chance to look at the smoker as well, where they were making fresh bacon. It is absolutely nuts, the kind of things students here at the college are doing.
Wow. I mean, I could just smell that bacon.
And speaking of things being done by students here at the college, the journalism students here at the MediaPlex have always participated in national competitions. But, as you can tell us, Zach, this time the competition is local.
What do Ford, St. Clair College, and Air Canada have in common? They have teamed up for the Ford Capstone project, which showcases students' potential in front of industry executives. Each group will have a chance at winning prizes as well. Susan Taylor, supervisor at the Genesis Center, said why this event is important.
The fact that, again, that sort of best and brightest of the college, we want to bring those students forth and have them showcase themselves in the same way that they would for perhaps a job interview.
Students will present their projects on April 27th. If you plan on attending, you are asked to pre-register. For MediaPlex News Radio, I'm Zachary Ballog. I mean, yeah. So how do you feel about your chances right now?
I mean, as the audience doesn't know, I actually entered into the first round of this. Tristan and I put in a piece, and we're feeling pretty good. I feel like what we put together is a pretty good example of our skills, and even if we don't move forward, it is a definite portfolio piece that we'll be using in the future.
So what is your podcast about, if you can share that with us?
Right now, our piece is kind of on the idea of like pitching to the judges and to the people watching the power of what a podcast can do for them. So kind of showing them, hey, here's all the little tips and tricks and things that podcasts can be good for, and the reason why we would be the people who should be the one making it for them. Kind of showing off what we learned here at the MediaPlex, having taken literal courses on podcasting, as well as how to kind of grow it out. We've taken multiple courses on social media. We've got certifications in social marketing, the Hootsuite platform that we've all gotten here. So we figured if we put those forward and show people, hey, here's what you can do to grow your audience and grow your brand, as well as just create something entertaining, that would be a great thing to do.
Oh, I look forward to hearing the results of this.
And speaking of Tristan as well, what could she possibly have to say this week?
Welcome to Impulse, the show with no description, just topics or whatever comes to mind. I'm Tristan Zuderveen. From Wonder Woman to Percy Jackson, some of the best stories in the world stem from Greek mythology. Aside from the tale of Theseus, one of my personal favorites is the story of Persephone and Hades, which surprisingly some people don't know very well. Originally titled Kor, she was the goddess of spring's bounty. Hades had seen her innocent natural beauty and fell in love with her. He decided to approach his brother Zeus, king of the gods, and ask for permission to take the spring goddess as his queen. Zeus agreed to the request, not thinking of how her mother Demeter would react. One day, while she was picking Narcissus with her nymphs in a flower meadow, Hades emerged from the darkness and whisked her away. She cried out for her mother to no avail as she was brought to Hades' domain. She became his queen, whom he treated with love and compassion, and eventually she learned to love her husband and flourished by his side. This, however, was only the beginning of the story. Remember the part where Zeus didn't tell Demeter? When she arrived at the meadow where her daughter usually played, she found no trace of her, only a sobbing nymph so distraught that it could not answer the goddess's questions. Thus began the harvest goddess's search, scouring the earth, which, due to her grief-stricken state, had grown dark, cold, and barren. After searching the entire planet, she finally contacted Zeus, who explained her daughter's marriage to Hades. Demeter's rage worsened as Zeus refused to return her daughter, taking it out on Earth, which further decayed below them. With nature dying and lakes freezing, Zeus was left with no choice but to send Hermes, messenger of the gods, to retrieve Kor. When Hermes delivered the summons to the overworld, Kor had mixed feelings. While she loved her husband, she missed her mother greatly. Hades, on the other hand, knew he could not ignore his brother's commands, but could not bear to lose his beloved queen. So before her departure, Hades gifted Persephone a pomegranate from his garden. This was a clever trick by the god because all Olympians knew that if anyone ate or drank anything in the underworld, they would be destined to remain there for eternity. Thinking of her mother, Persephone chose to eat the small seeds inside the fruit, thinking it did not count as consumption and unintentionally falling into Hades' trap. After eating 6 seeds, the Fates approached her and told her she would forever remain the queen of the underworld. Hermes returned to Olympus alone, bearing the news of Hades' deception. Zeus, however, could not let his beloved land continue to decay and met with Hades himself. With the help of Hermes, a deal was struck. Because Hades had tricked Kor, he was commanded to allow her to return to her mother. However, rules are rules, so because she had eaten 6 seeds, she would return to the underworld for 6 months of the year to rule by her husband's side. Kor became Persephone, whose name meant bringer of death, a symbol of her stature in the underworld and her growth from a maiden to a queen. Tune in next week for more stuff you didn't need to know.
The queen of the underworld, the beauty of spring. You know what? You know why I find that really fitting?
Why?
Because our springs here are full of rain and it's disgusting.
That's true. That is true, yeah. It's full of rain and it's just...
But you know what? Greek mythology is so cool, but it's also weird and wild and bizarre. But there's nothing weirder than the man sitting across the table from me. So, Zach, what do you got this week?
Well... Hey everybody, it is almost time for the weekend, so sit back and relax and enjoy some of the weirdest news found on the internet. This story went viral this week Albert, how does breakfast cereal sound with a side of shrimp?
Absolutely disgusting.
Well, a man named Jason Kemp had the luxury of finding shrimp tails in his box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. According to the New York Times, on Monday morning, he ate a bowl of his favorite cereal, and as he began filling the second bowl, something plopped out of the box, he said in an interview. I picked it up, and I was like, this is clearly a shrimp tail. A tweet put out by the company said they will further investigate the matter. Shrimp and cereal, still cheaper than Red Lobster.
So you are telling me that carp found shrimp?
That's true. As ironic as that sounds, that is true.
Sounds fishy.
Gosh darn it, Albert.
Listen, I can't be the only one who doesn't get to make dad jokes.
Oh, they're dad jokes, all right. Now it's time to travel to a place where there is always shrimp in mysterious places. It's time for...
Florida man, does whatever a Florida man can. Look out, here comes the Florida man.
Albert, how far would you go to save your cat?
I would go pretty far.
Well, a man walking his puppy along a waterway in Estro, Florida, saved his dog's life after it was grabbed by an alligator.
You know what? I would fight an alligator for my dog or my cats. I would do it.
The most Florida thing you can say is that I had to rescue my dog from an alligator.
Probably.
The man can be seen prying open the gator's mouth, according to a report from WINK News. The encounter was caught on a wildlife camera from the Florida Wildlife Federation and the F-Stop Foundation. The cameras usually capture videos of deer or bobcats, but apparently in Florida, alligators. Note, if you ever watched the video, he never drops his cigar the entire time.
Have you ever seen those videos of the guys who are falling out of chairs but don't spill their drink?
I have not, but I want to now.
You need to watch them. They are legendary.
Oh my God, that's alcoholism.
That is perfect balance.
You call perfect balance is what I call alcoholism. All right, have you ever heard of rats on the New York subway?
Who hasn't?
Well, this is the Canadian version of that. A beaver was spotted yesterday morning at the Greenview entrance of the TTC's Royal York subway station. Global TV reports Jen Abbott posted photos of the critter that her husband took wandering around the station on Twitter. She said the photos were taken at around 7 a.m., and the animal has been taken by Animal Rescue and is safe, only in Canada.
One word for that beaver.
What?
Damn.
That is the weirdness for this Friday. Dad joke of the week. When I was a kid, my mother told me I could be anyone I wanted to be. Turns out identity theft is a crime. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up.
And that is all for our show this week. Friday Live is a student-run radio production right here at St. Clair College that would not be possible without this week's team. Jeevon Aurora, Cade Ryan, Gracie Lowe's, Wallflower Kadimi, Tyler Clapp, Liam Major, Zachary Balog, and Tristan Zuderveen. I'm your host, Albert Sharp, and have an amazing weekend, everybody.
That was easy.
Not sponsored by Staples.